All right. Hi, Jess. How are you
Hi,
today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining the Small Quiet Voice podcast. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Yes, thank you for having me. Excuse my voice. I went to Universal Studios last week and screamed my head off on one of the roller coasters, so I lost my voice.
It happens. It
Yep.
happens. It's so much fun to do that, though. You probably took your daughter. I'm sure she had a great time.
Yes, it was a blast.
Good deal. Well, let me just introduce you to our guest. Jessica Perry is a life and high performance coach who's passionate about helping women get to the next level in their career and lives. And we met at Celebrate You recently in Tampa. And I just knew that we had so much in common and so many similar goals with our careers. So I'm just so thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. And
Can't
you
wait to
just moved,
chat.
you just moved here from New Jersey. So that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes, I'm loving exploring Florida. It's beautiful. I get to wake up to the sunshine every day. I get to meet amazing people like yourself.
I love that. I love it here too. And I
Yeah.
moved here in '05, and I never want to move back. I
Yeah,
came from a beautiful state, but something about Florida.
yeah, I agree.
Um, so tell me, Jess, a little bit about your career progression and how you got to this point as a coach.
Okay, so in a nutshell, I've been working since I'm 14. When I was 14, I wanted a pair of designer jeans. My dad said, I can afford to buy you clothes, but if you want designer clothes, you got to get a job. So called everywhere in a 2 mile radius that I could walk to after school. And I started frying chicken at 14 years old. So I knew that my drive and my ambition to get things in life was really strong. I wanted to go on trips into Europe in high school, and I paid for all of them myself. So I was kind of always chasing money, and because I knew it would give me a better life. Like most of us are taught, right? Um, I've had a job ever since. I went into retail. I studied international business and marketing in college, but I went into retail because I was making really good money. Six figures at 24 years old is nothing to shake a stick at. And, but I shortly realized I was burnt out. I was tired. I wasn't eating right. I was shoving, caffeine and candy and whatever I could fit quickly in my mouth because I was always so busy. I was in management. So, um, I started becoming really burned out after a while. I moved, to New York City for my career, and I had a little bit better of a work-life balance, but I was still commuting 4 hours a day, working 6 to 8 hours, or more sometimes, doing trunk shows and overnight things, and really just stretching myself out. And for years, I knew deep down inside that there was something more. I said, there has to be more to life than this. I feel like I'm stuck in my circumstances, but there has to be something I can do about it. So it took until COVID hit for me to lose my job because the company closed, and I went into direct sales. I said, sure, I'll try it out. How hard could it be? I'm good at sales. And it was a big learning experience for me because it's very different than just traditional sales. But I poured a lot of self-development into it. I'll be honest, without COVID, without being forced out of my job, I don't know that I would be out of my job right now. So something severe had to happen to kind of push me to that level. I regret not knowing it sooner, but I'm happy to be in a place where I am so I could share it with other people that are struggling to do the same thing. So I was, living to work, not working to live. I was working 60 hours a week or more. I was coming home angry, tired, no patience, running errands on the weekend. My daughter would want to hang out with me, and I'd say, mommy's tired. And it was the worst feeling in the world. So when I got into personal development, I decided I'm not going back full time. I refuse. And it just came out of my mouth one day when my boss called to hire me back. I said, I can work, but I can only work one day a week. And I was like, I don't know where that came from, but it was inside of me. Like, I knew I needed a change. So that just kind of sparked me to start my own coaching program, start my own wellness business, and really focus on helping as many women as possible in changing their circumstances and not having to be burnt out, and feel like that's the only way to live.
Oh, we are beating the same drum, girl.
Yes, it's been a long time coming, and I only wish I listened to my intuition sooner.
Yeah, sometimes it takes us a while. We get really trapped in chasing the mighty dollar, and it's not always the healthiest thing for us.
Yeah. And also it's the people around you too, because if you want something different for yourself, the people that are used to the same thing over and over are going to try and tell you that it's not possible, or I don't think you should do that. Or, when I wanted to move to Florida, people, oh, you're not going to sell your house until June. I was like, I'm selling my house this month. Like, as soon as it goes on the market, I'm selling it. They're like, I don't think you're going to sell it for at least 6 months. It sold the same weekend I put it on the market. So it's like, you can either listen to everybody else and take action with everybody else's opinions, or you can listen to your own gut and your own intuition and take the leap and just trust. It's really a lot about trust.
Stepping out on blind faith.
Exactly.
It's a big part of where we're at. And I think this story is similar for a lot of people. And I think COVID kind of was a wake-up call to many of us. I talk about the COVID journey that we had. And I worked and I kept my job and I worked from home, and my son was recovering from heart surgery. And so he couldn't get COVID. We had to be very careful. He was high risk. So he's great. And he's done wonderfully.
Thank God. Yeah.
He's a perfect, beautiful 19-year-old.
Perfect.
And yeah, he doesn't even take aspirin anymore. It's a wonderful thing.
But good.
COVID was stressful. And, I talk about this almost in every SQV we do, because we need to remember that a lot of people died, and there was a lot of trauma. And, what was happening in our politics and in our country during that time, and all the racial separation and racial cruelty and just horrible things we were seeing on the news, it felt like our world was exploding. And there's a lot of trauma that occurred from that time period. And we need to, at least talk about it and address it, and remember that we've been through a lot.
Absolutely. I think that I try not to pay attention to everything that's on the news, and I try not to watch it as often. I pay attention to like the big events going on, but I feel like we're just seeing all the negativity and not really seeing the positive things going on. But COVID, yeah, it was a really rough time for everybody. And my heart broke for people that were battling illnesses or had to go into the hospital and give birth to their baby alone, and they couldn't have their husbands with them, or they were pulled away from family members or couldn't visit family members. Like I remember thinking, like, is this the end of the world? Like, what's going on?
It felt like it.
New York City is shut down. That would never happen. It was crazy. Mm-hmm.
It was awful. So we're out of that. We're in 2024, and I have a background as a lifestyle editor and a journalist for a newspaper. And as soon as I got my position, I've worked for 2 different newspapers and 2 different magazine companies. And by far, those were my favorite jobs.
I love that.
Because
when I was younger, I wanted to be a journalist.
Because I got to edify other people, and I got to tell good stories. And I told my editor when I first started, after I got my marketing degree, and when I was working at the Panama City News Herald, I said, you know what, Kaz, I really don't want to work the crime beat, and I really don't want to talk to the county officials. I just really want to tell the good news. I have 3 young boys, and I'm a mom, and can I just please have the good stories? So, and that's what I was able to do then. And then again, for 3 years when I was with the Haibu Project. And so that's why the SQV was born. And a big part of the theme of my book is honoring your small, quiet voice. And you've done that through your career choice. I've done that through my career choice. It came out of me like a different beast. I couldn't control it. It was where I was evolving to. And here we are in this beautiful realm of women who are taking back our country one conversation at a time.
Yes, I agree. I'm very passionate about that, because I feel like for so long we just lived up to the expectations or societal norms, and we're supposed to do everything. We're supposed to be the moms and cook and clean and, do all the bills and all the housekeeping and work and take it's just too much. And why are we not stepping into our own power and saying what we want and paying attention to our needs? It's funny. My mom told me, like, well, when you become a mom, your life is over. It's all about them now. And I said, no, I disagree. I think I could have it all. I think I could have both. And
I bring that up. When you get to that point in the book, I think it's chapter 16. It's called momming. And I think momming is a verb, but I realized, my mom stayed home with me and my sister. Pardon me. She was a single mom. for a few years. She hustled, but
That's
she found
hard.
a way to balance it. And, you know, you'll find the different things that she did in the early 80s and in the 70s to feed us, basically, and to stay home with us, because she really wanted that for her life. And she was creative. And I looked at that and I thought, well, she has to get married in order to support us in the right way. And she's giving away her power because she doesn't have a career. And so I went in to the Air Force and I never looked back. And I've had a lot of jobs over the years, and I've worked really hard to support my kids through single momhood, through alcoholism. Their dad had an alcohol problem.
Oh,
Um, and and then, you know, trying to transition into this new relationship, knowing that the financial burden was not equal. He was
right.
making more money than me, which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
The data supports a woman with the same credentials making about 82 cents to every dollar that her male
Which
counterpart
is
makes.
crazy.
Um, but he was willing to help me with that, and that was the comeuppance that we had last year, because I knew that he was this amazing man. That's his nickname. You haven't figured that out yet.
Amazing man. I love that.
So amazing man was there to help me support my kids for 10 years. Finally, we were going to have a break. My youngest was getting ready to graduate high school, and we were excited about our new life. And then he got prostate cancer. And so there was this injustice that I felt. I was like, why now, God? But it all happened for a reason. I had to honor my small, quiet voice. He had to do what he had to do. And now I'm launching a business. So I want to get into your business because it's so special and it's so important. So JessicaPerryOnline.com is your website URL. I want everyone to check it out. It's a beautiful website. And I've been taking a couple little notes. I love this pivot your passion. I think that's so cool. And it says so much. So what does a typical client intake look to you, and what is your target market, and how would you help a woman like me or someone else deal with life and making their life better?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you. So I think it's a very different approach. You know, I'm a certified life and high performance coach. So I help busy working moms or just busy working women. You don't have to be a mom, but being a mom adds an extra piece to it. So whatever your situation is, I like to look at a day in the life. What does your current schedule look like? I might have you write down everything you're doing every day. And so we could see where you're minimizing your time. Like, where are you wasting time? Where can we batch some of the things in your schedule so you're doing some of the same chores on one day instead of spreading them out throughout the week? Your mind can only kind of handle one thing at a time. So if you're focused on, like, if your day is all sporadic, like you have a meeting and then you have an errand to run and then you have a phone call to take, your mind is in all these different places. But if you just set all your errands in one day, your mind is in errand mode. You'll get so much more done and you'll be so much more calm. You won't feel as chaotic. I tend to, talk to a lot of women that use the word overwhelmed. And I think overwhelmed is a strong word. And I think that we tend to do that to ourselves. We feel overwhelmed because we take on too much ourselves. We don't have healthy boundaries. So helping women say no to things that don't serve them, oh, but it's my friend's birthday and she's going to be so upset if I don't go. I haven't seen her since college. And is that really something that's going to move your business or your life forward? Is that something that, if you're exhausted and burnt out, is that something that you really need to do? Is it healthy for you? Mm-hmm. So really just taking a look at everything going on in their lives and seeing what is moving you forward, what is holding you back, and where can we create more time in your schedule so that you can focus more time on yourself. Because when you prioritize yourself, we're always taught, like, you put your kids first and your husband first, right? And for me, I put myself first, because if I'm not mentally stable or I'm not mentally feeling healthy that day, I'm not going to put my best foot forward. And I might say something to someone I love that I don't mean, or I might have a freak out at work and have a meltdown, or, there's so much to be said. And I love that we were just talking about the PTO Affirm before. I think that's so important because so many times we blend work into home life. And even when I would be home with my daughter, I would be thinking about what happened at work and what I need to say the next morning and who I need to email. And I'm not fully present in what I'm doing. So teaching women how to be fully present and intentional with every minute that they have If you're scheduled out to do a phone call, put everything else away during that time. Have that phone call. If you're scheduled to go to your daughter's softball game, put your phone away. Don't do work and multitask. We're taught to multitask to be productive, but multitasking really makes us feel so overwhelmed. It confuses our brain, and we're not as effective. If we're giving 50% of attention to two things instead of 100% attention to one, it's really not fair, and you really can't be successful in both things at the same time. So
yeah,
I just like to break everything down and separate out what's really important and what's really not urgent.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so good. I had a conversation with my sister, who is she is a counselor at an elementary school. She was previously a counselor at a high school, and she and I have had very busy year. The last year has been busy. Our relationship has suffered a little bit because of all the nonsense that I've had to deal with, and we'll talk about that another time. But
that's for another episode.
She and I are building olive branches, and she called me during the workday, and I picked up, and I was working on prepping something, and she was telling me about her vacation that she'd been planning all year, and I didn't hear her. I wasn't listening to understand. I was listening to respond.
Right.
And she called me back after her vacation, and she said, "You didn't even listen to where I was going." And I thought, you're right. And I owe you a huge apology, and I need to work on that. It's something that we have to do better at, is giving our attention to the correct things at the correct time and saying no. So we have the time to be present with the things that matter.
Yes.
And I'm usually pretty good at this. And I usually talk to my girlfriends about this. I believe that we can do it all. We have to be super efficient, and we have to prioritize. And the cool thing that I was taught when I was a freshman by a brilliant man who was my biology teacher is organization is the key to success.
Yes. And some of us learn that way too late in life, because you just feel I'm so busy, I'm so stressed. You know what? How are people so successful that are multi-millionaires in multiple companies? They have the same 24 hours that we do. They started at the same place we started at. It's just that they were smarter with their time, and they had priorities, and they stuck to them. They're more disciplined. Exactly. And that's something I had to do a lot of soul searching to find my discipline.
Definitely. I think that you and I are going to be great friends. I cannot wait.
I agree. I love that.
So the other question I had, because it relates to what both of our missions are, I'm more implementing solutions and efficiency things for corporations and solutions. And you're doing this for women that are either entrepreneurs or work from home or whatever. They're just busy professional women, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're busy with volunteerism. That happens too. People get busy in different things. So do you know about this stress hormone called cortisol?
I do.
And if so, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I know when your cortisol levels go up, everything else suffers. I know that when you're really stressed out, everything mentally and physically. So when you have a stressful situation, like I have certain triggers. When my husband's ex-wife texts in a group text, like I could be out and about having an amazing day and enjoying my day. But when I see her name come through on a text, it triggers me, and I just get into this state. And my husband's like, "Why does this affect you so much?" I'm like, I just know that she's a trigger. So I try and keep a minimal contact so that it doesn't ruin my day, because you think that it doesn't ruin your state of mind, but it totally takes you out of what you were doing. Like we were talking earlier about how you're on vacation. And if you're on vacation and you get a phone call from work, you're knocked out of that relaxation mode. So, I know cortisol can make you gain weight. It can make you have a lot of brain fog. It can make you just angry. And I mean, that's the extent of my knowledge of cortisol. I just know that it has a lot of negative effects on your body when you're stressed out.
Well, and that's beautiful. And I appreciate your vulnerability there, because not everybody wants to talk about the ex-wife thing. That's pretty deep.
Listen, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything.
I know. I'm an open book too. I mean, I put it all out there. It's nuts. I don't know what we're doing here, but we're being super vulnerable, and I love it. So something you were talking about, cortisol. Yoga helps, right? A glass of wine helps. But when you have years of cortisol accumulated, or you're going through something really hard, like a death of a loved one, like a diagnosis of cancer, like a little, like, so there's stressors, right? We all know these stressors that cause somebody to be more stressed. And when you have accumulative ones, for me, I had all of them all at the same time, and it pushes you over the edge. I had gone to the doctor and told her, this is exactly what I said. I said, you seem like a very nice woman, but I am at the edge and I want to claw your eyes out. And I don't know why. Could you explain that to me? And she goes, oh, honey, you need some anti-anxiety and antidepressants. What she should have said is, when's the last time you went on vacation?
Right. How many hours a week are you working?
So at the end of the day, we need to do what is natural and what is healthful, not what is chemical, because my high blood pressure was off the charts. I was not a happy girl, and my family was not happy with me. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the natural solutions that you have encompassed into your business plan that allow people to find something that is natural and not artificial and helps them in their daily life.
Yes, I love that you said that, because I've been working for the past couple of years a lot on my health. I want to be proactive in my health. I don't want to be one of those people that wakes up one day and I have an issue and now I have to work backwards to solve it. So much time, energy, money goes into it, and who wants to be sick, really? So, and it was something for me that I want to teach my kids too. So I don't want my daughter seeing me eat all the crap that I was eating before. I would get home from work and be exhausted and be like, let's just order pizza. Let's just order whatever. I'll get healthy another day. So I was taking like 6, 7 supplements at a time, one for energy, one for this, one for that, one for fat loss, all the things. And what I found is it was just masking the symptoms instead of getting to the core of what's going on in my body. So I was looking at more, anti-aging from the inside out. And I found ketones. So the company I'm with, or the company I help promote, has the only exogenous ketones on the market that are bioidentical, meaning they're the same makeup of the ones your body produces. So your body is naturally born in ketosis. There's a book called The Ketogenic Bible, which I happen to have right here, actually. I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
Awesome.
It's written by 2 doctors. They're the 2 doctors that actually formulated the product, Dr. Ryan Lowry and Dr. Jacob Wilson. And they've studied ketones and ketosis for years. And they have people like Tony Robbins, professional athletes, NASA astronauts. Like, we were given a patent by the U.S. Department of Defense because people in the Air Force or Marines or wherever were using them to maximize their mental clarity and their focus. So what it does is it puts your body in a state of ketosis within an hour of drinking it. We're all born in a state of ketosis, but now to get in a state of ketosis, you can't have carbs, or you can have 27 or less carbs. It takes days for your body to get into ketosis, and one little thing can knock it off course. This puts your body into ketosis for 6 or 7 hours at a time. And the benefits of ketosis are having extra energy, mental focus and clarity, better sleep, better mood, muscle preservation, which is huge as you age because fat starts encroaching your bones and your muscles. And that's what makes you more likely to have falls as you get older and not be as strong. So, and it's really good for all of your organs, all of your vital organs. So just putting my body in that natural state of ketosis not only gives me, I'm telling you, I'll drink one in the morning and I will have energy until 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes if I'm having a really active day, I'll have 2 of them. I'll have one like later on in the afternoon. But my energy levels, like I come home after a 12-hour day, I'm playing with my daughter. I just feel so alive and I feel so lit up from the inside. And I just love sharing it with people because it's something that's so natural. Your body produces these, but it can't now if you're not eating so strict all the time. So it's something that puts your body into ketosis without having to do a crazy diet or restrict carbs from your life or restrict every ounce of sugar from your life. Obviously drinking tons of water, I've realized, is a huge part of living a healthy lifestyle because it's what, keeps you hydrated and keeps your cells functioning and all the things. But the ketones have been a big part of my life and a big part of what I'm helping other people, and we don't do medical claims, but people with Alzheimer's, people with diabetes, people with other neurodegenerative diseases or cancers or different kind of medical conditions are seeing much improved cognitive results, as well as lowered blood sugar, more energy. Just they're in fat burning mode. So your body is burning fat instead of glucose and carbs. And the glucose and carbs is where you get all of that brain fog from, that lethargicness. You know, after you eat a big bowl of pasta, you want to just go sleep. You're lethargic because you put all of that carbohydrates in your body instead of putting protein and fueling yourself. So if you think about it that way,
it's awesome.
It's replaced all of my other supplements.
I'm excited to learn. I'm a big supplement person myself. I take a really good multivitamin powder that
I'll send you some.
Yeah, I've been in ketosis. I put myself in ketosis before, and I understand the benefits of it. And I think this is a great product. I'm going to check it out. Thank you for the information.
Of course.
My husband and I are always looking for ways to be more healthy, and he's recovering from prostate cancer. So, you know, we've had to deal with all of the things you say, all of the medical interventions, the surgeries, the procedures, the medicine they put you on for cancer is not fun.
No, I'm sure it's not good for your body.
Yeah. And so we're on a new stage in our life where we're looking for healthy solutions. So I'm excited to check this out.
Yes, I'm excited. I'll send you some, of course. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, they can just visit my website or send me a DM, and I'm happy to send information and share.
Awesome. Yes. It's jessicaperryonline.com, and it's under the Shop It tab. I've just been browsing your site, so I'm excited about that. Okay, Jess, we are going to wrap this up. I think we've covered a lot of great concepts, and I think I've made a new best friend.
Yes, I could talk with you for hours.
I don't know why my phone's going off, but is there anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers before we get off the SQV today?
My mission in life is to help other women realize that they don't have to do it all themselves, to be a good mom, to be a good wife, to be a good person. And it all starts with them. I mean, if you focus more on yourself, it's not selfish. It's actually being proactive in helping other people around you. Because one of the things I noticed when I became a mom is like, my daughter is going to see all the bad habits I have, and she's going to follow those. It's do as I say, not as I do, we tell them, but they always do what we do. I do my makeup. My daughter's doing her makeup next to me. You know, if my daughter sees me not paying attention to myself, she's not going to take good care of herself. So I could take as good care of her as I want. But when she's going to grow up, she's not going to take care of herself. So it's just something that I find it's so instrumental to teach women. I would love to teach kids this, you know, self-love, self-discovery, and all of that, just so they don't have to deal with some of the crap that I've had to deal with growing up and going through all of the pain and struggles. But anyone who's dealing with that now, I want to help them get out of that and realize that they can change their circumstances. You just need to believe, have a mentor, work on yourself, and give yourself time and space.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're amazing. I look forward to working with you in the future. This has been a great talk, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Jess.
Bye.
Bye.